Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Monoxide Podcast. I'm your host, Harris, a.k.a. Monoxide. I'm here with my good buddy, Dan from Gun and Garage.
Yep.
And just say hi.
You were like, we're going to switch up the intro and then not tell me anything about it. So, yeah, thanks for throwing me into the weeds here. Well, we're here.
You can skip that whole part. No, it's all good.
Okay.
We didn't powwow before this. No, so one problem that we have with the episodes, we don't usually just jump right in. I think since we know Dave, we can just jump right in. You've done a lot of fun stuff throughout the year. You've been on the podcast before. The Mustang's very different. It's quite a bit more powerful, the 10-speed that you were building. You're at a new shop. So I think let's just jump right into, I want to talk about the Mustang first.
Okay.
Because it's making 4 digits now.
Yep.
Which is quite about, what do those come stock, first of all?
Mine made 414 NA bone stock on 87 octane and made 425 on 93 octane.
Okay. And now, for those of us that aren't good at math, what are you making now?
Unofficially, based on air fuel calculations and fuel load, it's probably about 1,100-ish wheel horsepower.
Okay, and that's on 93?
It's on E85.
E85, that's right. Okay. So you've done quite a bit of work, and you could theoretically make even more from what we were talking about at the shop.
Yeah,
right?
We've still got 10 more pounds of boost to play with. So,
I think we've had between you and Mike, I think you guys are the only 10-speed owners we've had on the podcast, right?
I think so.
Which, that car is ridiculous. Like, as I've told you, like, I want a Supra. That's always been, like, my goal. I want a GT500 after that. But Mike has me itching for a 5.0. And then, obviously, you know, what you have built is nothing short of astounding. Because, like, you've done a lot of the work yourself, too.
yeah, I've got...
Well, I guess all the work, but, like...
all but the axle back portion of the exhaust and the transmission build itself. I had Adam down at Performance Drivetrain Solutions build the trans. It's got a Circle D converter in it. Yeah, I mean, I've got 450 plus man hours into the whole car. I built the turbo kit myself from scratch, built the manifolds, had custom made V-band housings made for the turbos that are on it from AGP. Had borrowed a 3D scanner from a friend and 3D scanned the front end to make all the intercooler brackets. So everything's like CNC laser bent and cut and formed and utilizes factory frame hole location, so I didn't have to drill any additional holes in anything.
The 3D scanning stuff. So, did you watch Gran Turismo or no?
Yeah.
Is it kind of like those 3D scanners that they have? Or
yeah, it's just a little handheld thing that you put these little dots on and you 3D scan it.
Yeah, all that stuff's getting pretty affordable. I mean, they're still expensive. Like, I think like a cheap one you can get for like $500.
I mean, you can use an Xbox Connect if you want, like the little camera thing. Yeah, they make a kit to convert that camera into a 3D scanner.
I should have kept my stupid Connect.
It's not as accurate as, obviously as the price goes up exponentially, the resolution or its measurements are much more precise. But for what I was doing, we were 1/64 of an inch is plenty of tolerance.
I'm curious. So is there any things that you developed for your car that you could even potentially like sell or not really? Like, would you ever consider manufacturing?
There are going to be some parts that'll be coming out. Obviously with the business and the new venture there, that has taken priority with getting in there, updating equipment, some remodel stuff. We've still got more remodel. I just bought a new alignment rack on Tuesday. So that's 30 days out, and the office remodels next, and then add on to the building, hopefully end of next year if everything goes well.
Yeah, no, that'll be. Sorry, I was just checking the computer deal. This is one day I'll have an official producer. one day I'll have my own Jamie. I like the shops. I actually came by to your shop yesterday to visit it. It's about I want to say a 40-minute drive for me, so nothing too bad. But
yeah, it's 22 minutes from here.
Yeah, it's not that bad at all. Yeah, that's why I like being here at Ratified Motorsport now, too. It's like it's a lot easier for guests to come. It's a little more central. It's not as chaotic of a drive unless you're coming from, where with this guy.
Hudson and driving through the Laurie Hill Tunnel at 5 o'clock on a fucking Wednesday. That gets gets my blood a little boiled doing that.
Hopefully you drove something with loud exhaust so you could...
I actually was driving my Super Duty, 6.7 Power Stroke, crew cab, all that shit, and... the amount of people that don't turn their lights on when it actually gets dark is insane to me. So I was like couldn't see these little cars, so I just picked up a Lincoln Town Car, and that's what I'm gonna daily over here now. So I paid $2,000 for it. I don't mind playing bumper cars through freaking rush hour.
That's the
Try
best
me,
part.
yeah.
Try me.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that, right? Like, because actually no, I had a truck. It's called a Jeep Gladiator, and
Pseudo truck.
pseudo truck. Yeah, we'll call it that.
Just like a Honda Ridgeline, you know. Yeah.
First of all, I love that thing. That thing was stupid. I could drive over anything. But like, again, like I was a little bit higher up, so like when people didn't have their lights on, and then they honk at me like I'm the idiot. It's like, come on. So bumper cars, I like that.
Yeah, that's what I drive my $500 Volkswagen CC for every day. Like,
Yeah.
It gets phenomenal fuel mileage, and go ahead and hit me. I don't care.
Yep.
It doesn't. I can.
Or
walk
I can
away
ram
from
it in. Yeah, the Norwegian in me is like, I'll just run this into you and leave this $2,000 car here and go get another one. I don't give a shit.
Yep.
I'm gonna take my plates and walk away.
Are you so for insurance wise? You're probably only gonna do liability insurance.
Oh, absolutely. I already emailed my insurance guy. I was like, here, whatever's fucking cheapest. Call the general. I don't give a shit.
Call the general. Is that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal?
Yeah,
one?
that's Shaquille O'Neal's one. Yeah.
You Ford guys. I think I was just telling you yesterday. It's like I think I'm starting to lean more towards the Ford guys. I'm having more fun.
Yeah, we know how to party, man.
Yeah.
I mean, then you got Mark and then Massey. Oh, Massey's a Porsche guy, but
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
he hangs out with Mustang guys, so.
I don't know. I'm starting to think the Ford guys know how to have a party. You have a New Year's party coming up, right?
New Year's party at the shop.
I was going to, but 4 o'clock start time. If it was like in the earlier afternoon, I can get back over to Hudson. I thought about it, but I don't know, maybe.
We can party there all night long.
Yeah. All right.
Got 2 kegs sitting there that got
We'll
delivered
see how
today.
our wives are getting along here. I may be going over there no matter what.
Yeah, it might not be your choice.
Yeah. Right.
So obviously, you kept it a little bit on the down low, and we'll come back to the Mustang as well. So you obviously got your own shop now.
Yep.
Which you've had a journey. Okay. So where were you at before Mo's? Eurocharge, right?
So I was at Eurocharged, and before that I was up in Brainerd for like 7 years with Paradigm Performance up there.
Okay.
Al and Greg Schmidt helped them get the second store up and running, and then it's the northern towns. You're capped at a certain point, and I was like, I want to grow. So AJ had reached out to me, and we'd known each other for a long time, and I was coming down and helping on weekends, and
So it was like it was a part-time thing kind of that you were doing?
to start,
Okay.
yep. And then they offered me a full-time position, and I made the move, and
Okay.
yeah, it was that was 5 years ago now, I think.
Okay.
It's gone by fast.
Yeah, time flies.
Like my daughter's 6 now. It's like she was just born.
I think that was my first time meeting her yesterday too. She has got some energy, man.
Oh my goodness. So we're at Christmas, right? And she is her normal self, doing gymnastics, somersaults, like pretending to do flips, running around, wears out all 3 under 2-year-old hunting dogs. Like they're hiding in their kennels. They're like, no, I can't take anymore. I'm done. She threw the ball so long for them. And then like all the aunts and uncles look at me and they're like, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't. I'm spent. If I could harness her energy, I wouldn't need to own a shop.
Dude, yeah, that's a next level energy. It's probably from those. What was the snack you were offering me earlier?
Sweet tart ropes.
Sweet tarts. Yeah, probably pounding those all day. I'll get it going. But how did we get on that? Oh, shops. Okay, so after your charge, is that when you went to Mo's then?
Yep. So
Okay.
from Eurocharge, went to Mo's. Was there for just over a year and a half, sometime in that.
A little bit before we had you on the podcast the first time, because I think you were on, I want to say like May, maybe, of this year.
Yeah.
I listened to it. You were at Mo's at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was definitely at Mo's at that time.
Yeah. That was even before the proposition even came up for you too.
Yeah,
Around the
and
shop.
it kind of just landed in my lap. We were looking at selling some of our land, so our farm is in a family trust, so we had like a trust meeting, and I was with Jeff Storms, who was gonna help me sell the land as my realtor, and my uncle was like, "Hey, do you do business valuations too?" And I was like, wait, hold up. Are you finally ready to retire? And he's like, I think it's time. And I was like, you don't need Jeff. Let's talk. So we started talking, and then a plan kind of fell in place. And then, Sean had at Tuned by Sean had been like, if you're going to do this, we can maybe do it together. I've got the financial backing right now to kind of come in and do this. And we just made it work. And we've been in. So July 31st was our first official day in the building.
My birthday.
And
I hope y'all remember next year.
Yeah, we kind of just, there's, when you bring 5 new people into an existing 5-person area, there's some heads that are going to butt and stuff like that. And, we work through it, and we've got a pretty good staff there now. And
it was your uncle's shop? So it was like in a family shop?
Yep, family shop. So my uncle's still there.
How long has it been around? Has he started
43 years.
Really?
So that building's been 33 years.
Okay.
Well, 34 years. March of 1989, he built that building.
Wow.
So it was the 4th building in the Corcoran Commercial Park. Everybody else was just 1 year before that in 88. And it's been good. We've kind of shown an old dog new tricks with everything that's going on in there, and set a bunch of back-to-back, month-to-month gross revenue records. And he never had a 100K plus month, and we did back-to-back right off the bat. And it's been really good. It's been a lot of fun. We've got a lot of big plans for it. We're still currently operating under the old business name in the meantime. Just city licensing and permits and everything like that. So it's business as usual, even though it's not business as usual, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I can't imagine there was many performance cars coming through there before, was there?
No. I mean, you'd get the random classic car that somebody out there owned.
Tune the carburetor.
Or suspension upgrades, or it's got a leak somewhere or something like that. But, we've kind of really opened the door to what can be done. I mean, the Mustang I just finished up on top of mine made 1,120 wheel horsepower, and it drives like stock. Like, I drove it an hour to the dyno, drove it an hour back, didn't trailer it, got 21 miles to the gallon driving there and back on E85. And
did it really get 21 miles to the gallon? Dude, for a race car. That is ridiculous. 1,100
plus wheel horsepower car, got 21 miles to the gallon on E85, and just...
Those cars don't make sense to me, man. What the hell?
That was the blower car you were talking about? Yeah.
Who hurt Ford? Before we get too far into the show, I wanted to take a moment to talk about Raise a Hood. If your daily driver is having issues, aka your beater you got off Craigslist, Raise a Hood's telemechanics and AI tools can help you diagnose and solve the issues you may be dealing with for a fraction of the cost. All you have to do is add your car to the Raise a Hood garage to get started. You can provide the AI tool, also known as Gus, with the specifics of the issues you're having, and it'll help you narrow down what the culprit is. It's a great way to bounce ideas off of to figure out what actually might be the problem. You could then select from a variety of solutions to explore the cost and difficulty of doing the repair yourself versus taking it to a shop. If your car doesn't have detailed solutions yet, that's totally fine. Just go ahead and add your car to the garage for free, and that'll let the Raise a Hood team know what to focus on as they continue to develop and grow. If you want to try out Gus or chat with a telemechanic, go to raiseahood.com and add your car to the garage to get started. Use code MONOXIDE-FREE for a 1-month free subscription, or Monoxide20 to save 20% on a 30-minute call with a telemechanic. Let's get back to the show.
Ford has come a long way. Like, I've got one of my good friends that owns To The Grid Motorsports up in Brainerd Rich.
What's it called?
To The Grid Motorsports. Okay. And he just took a training class with Elite Tuning School or something like that. And even the guys down there were like, yeah, Ford's really got it figured out. Their ECUs are so much more advanced than GM ECUs and the Mopar ECUs and everything like that. He's like, watch this. And when they were doing their live dyno thing, they put a Mustang on there, and he completely screwed the fueling up on it purposely. And the factory ECU was able to calculate and adjust for it while on the dyno.
Is that kind of like auto calibration or whatever?
It's basically like a protect feature, apparently. I don't know the logistics behind it because I don't tune. I haven't. I mean, I set injector scaling on my car so I could start it while I was trying to find a tuner, but beyond that, I just don't get into it. There's so many tables in the Ford ECU compared to looking at like a Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5 GM ECU. Mm-hmm. So,
but you do yeah. I'm getting. See, this is what happens when you
got
get
the
too much caffeine. Yeah,
the doo-doo.
But you do tuning on like GM or older Ford stuff, right? Or not really? You still.
So we offer tuning. We mainly use Lund.
Okay.
My car my personal car is on Shoemaker's tune right now. We work with several other tuners as far as, GM, Ford, Mopar. Mopar stuff I tend to just send right to Bryce and those guys up at Moe's.
Yeah.
They've got that market locked in, and I've got customers that want to work with me, but I still bring it to them, because I worked there for a year and a half. I know those guys; they're good dudes up there. They've got an in-house dyno, and Bryce works with one of the best tuners out there for Mopar. So
yeah, that's huge.
I see the happy customers when I was there, and that's what I want for my own customers too. So
yeah, Bryce loves working on stuff that gets beat by Euro cars. I love giving. I love talking shit to him all the time. I'm like, wow, that 5.7 made let's say 400 to the wheel. It's like my Volkswagen will beat it, but but at the same time, like he's working on that track, dude. That Hennessy one that he's working on right now,
stock plugs and stock thermostat in it.
Really?
Oh yeah,
dude. It's never ending with those. Like every time I start getting like a feeling that I like what they put out, I always see something else come up. Mm-hmm. And then, so I mentioned this story before, right? So somebody around here has a 1,200 horsepower Hennessy Vet, but apparently you can't run it on 1,200 horsepower or anything near it without voiding the Hennessy warranty. So, yeah, just interesting.
Well, I mean, the rule of thumb is whatever it says on the side of a Hennessy package, take a third off of that. And that's probably more realistic what it makes.
And to be fair, I'm sure they disclose it. It's like
850 crank horsepower.
Yeah, because like if you're running on kill mode all the time, like nobody's going to warranty that either.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the Ford world. I mean, look at Mike's car. Look at my car,
1,800 pulls of whoop ass, dude.
Yeah.
And 5 belts.
And yeah, on the Vortex setup, but on the ESS setup, nothing. It's the same belt that I put on it when I put the blower on it,
Well, okay, so if you did 1,600 pulls on the Vortex setup, divide that by 5, 300 pulls is the average of when it snaps, right? And he's only done 200 on the ESS one. So mathematically speaking, we should get a snap here in about 100 pulls, knock on the wood, obviously.
But it's a supercharger thing. Like my Whipple's eaten a couple belts. Like I keep them in the trunk. I've gotten really good at swapping them. It's really not like a detrimental. And it sucks.
And honestly, the ESS is so easy to change a belt. I mean, it's no different than doing a stock.
I will say the Vortex setup is a fucking nightmare to change a belt.
Unless you do the mod on that housing where you take one of the spacers out and then take the spacer out on the other bolt and put a big washer. Then it makes it so you can change the belt without taking the bracket off.
Oh, okay.
With that bracket on there, you got to pretty much take the front half of the bracket off just to get a belt on it, and you're not doing that on the side of the road.
I've got an idler pulley out on my dad's Celine that I have to basically take the whole kit off the car in order to get it changed out because it bolts through into the alternator. It's not fun. But that's 1999 technology, so I'm sure they didn't have that figured out anyway.
Even on that car that I just finished up, that 1,100 wheel horsepower Whipple car, that thing, it's got a 10 rib on it, but it's not an add-on 10 rib, so it's not like out in front of the crank like ProCharger does. Mm-hmm. It's got a 20% lower, and because of the 10 rib, the tensioner is so close to the Whipple bracket that bolts to the front of the engine that you actually have to loosen the tensioner just to tip the belt on its side to slide it behind it. But once it's on there, it really doesn't take that long. I mean, we changed pulleys and belts on the dyno 3 times, and I think the longest it took me was 20-25 minutes.
That's not bad.
No.
Yeah. So we've talked about this a little bit with Mike because he was kind of shit talking literally everything. Mike.
Yeah.
Literally everything. From turbos to Whipples and how everybody's heat soaking, blah, blah, blah. You know how he goes. So what made you want to go the twin turbo route?
So I had a Vortec on my car as well.
That's right.
So the car made 707 on the stock 3.6 inch pulley. We made 901 on a 3.4 inch grip tech. It was atrocious to autocross. Like transient throttle response was terrible. And with a centrifugal, it's all upper RPM power. So you don't really gain anything down low except for some shitty throttle response.
Okay.
And for what I wanted to do, I didn't need 900 horsepower or 700 horsepower, but I wanted it to be a more linear power band, which is why I built the turbo kit that I built for my car. I mean, the thing's got tiny turbos on it. They're 57 millimeter turbos on the inducer side.
Yeah. And to remind people real quick, by the way, so you're trying to build a car, or you have built a car that's supposed to be a triple threat: road course, autocross, drag racing.
Yep.
So just because I know we're gonna have a lot of new listeners compared to the last time you were on.
Who did your tuning on the Vortex setup?
Same one that does Mike's Module.
Okay.
So
okay.
And it was fantastic. The car went on, so on the 3.6 inch pulley, we went 1032 at 139 miles an hour on stock trans, stock converter, stock axles. I mean, 2.7 degrees of rear negative camber, so not even a good suspension setup for drag racing. But the slick, I put regular bias ply slicks on it, and it actually launched pretty good. And then I got booted after my second pass, and they made me do the NHRA street legal licensing pass because the rule is 10.0 at 135 for 14 and newer cars. So I went and did that, got that approved, so now I can go 9.0 at 150. So that's when I pulleyed the car down and went to PG2, not this last year, but the year before, and went 953 at 153. So they were like, hi. Because I went 3 miles an hour over, and at that point you need an 850 cage and parachute and all sorts of other stuff, and you got to have an engine diaper or a containment unit. There's just a lot more safety equipment once you eclipse.
Are you
that
planning on doing that, or just leave it where she's at?
No, it's a street car.
Yeah, that's kind of, I get to that point too, where you want to go fast, but then like that shit's not worth it.
We'll see what this next year at the shop brings. I may sell the car and build an S650 now. I may keep it and turn it into an all-out race car and put like a SECA or NASA spec cage in it that will also spec for 850. I really enjoy just driving the car right now, so I can jump in it and go anywhere. It's got air-conditioned seats. It's got adaptive cruise control. It's got lane keep. It drives like a bone stock car until you push the pedal down a little bit. It's quiet, out of boost. In boost, it's quite loud because the wastegates dump right underneath your feet, but... yeah, I mean, it still gets phenomenal. It gets better mileage than the Whipple car. I've gotten 25 in it so far on E85.
That's crazy for E85.
Considering the car got 29 on pump gas.
Yeah.
Stock, like.
Why? How does this? Okay, anybody else who's on E85 that has that sort of power level, they're getting like 2 mpg. What? Do you have any idea why it does that into Ford?
We got 3 overdrives.
Okay, yeah, fair
8th,
enough.
9th, and 10th gear.
Oh, I didn't even take the 10-speed into consideration. I was like, I never get anywhere near that, but I'm 6-speed manual. So.
Yeah, I mean, so on that Whipple car, that's a non-performance pack car. So like Mike's, it's got the 315 ratio rear end. My car is a performance pack with the 6-piston Brembos and the upgraded suspension. Some other minor changes, like the rear center section on my car is cast iron versus aluminum on the non-performance pack cars. So like that Whipple car, unless you're going 80, it won't even go into 10th gear. So like if you're doing 70, it's in 9th gear, but it's still like 1800 RPMs going down the road. You get up to 80 and it finally is like, okay, now we can go into the last overdrive.
What's your rear gear at?
So mine's a 355.
355, and it's 373s on a manual car, I believe.
373s on a
pack.
manual car, yep.
Okay.
On a performance pack, and then I think it's 355 on...
in my 2015, they were 333s.
Okay.
With a 6-speed non-performance pack car.
Okay.
Which worked out good for Whipple.
Yeah.
You don't want anything too high.
Yeah, and then the autocross guys, the 6-speed manual guys, put a 409 ratio in them for autocross because it makes it so that you can pretty much stay in one gear for all of the autocross. Yeah. Personally, I'd love to have a 315 because, like, doing a 60 to 130 in my car, I almost have to with the new motor, I can rev it out, so I don't need to shift into 7th gear. But with the Vortec on it and the stock motor, it was 3 gears to do a 60 to 130, and the 315 cars, they can. Well, 7th gear in my car is, oh god, I'd have to do the math on it, but it's probably 190 miles an hour at 9,000 RPMs.
Does it go up to 9,000 RPM?
So we're spinning mine like 9,200.
Okay. What are they at stock?
75.
Oh, wow. Damn.
And then on the long tube headers with the intake and everything, when it was NA still, we were spinning at 8.
Okay.
So most of the blower cars make peak, like that Whipple car made peak power at 7,982 RPMs.
Oh.
So there's no point in spinning it any higher than past peak power, because it's still going to drop into peak torque on the shifts with the 10-speed, because you only need to make power for this little tiny bit of power band. You don't need a big power band for straight line acceleration, which is why I did the turbo setup on mine for autocrosses. My car makes full boost at 3,300 RPMs. So I've got 3,300 to 9,200 RPMs of
I would
power.
love to see your dyno sheets when you have them. That would be cool to see. So you're 60 to 130. What are you starting? What gear are you in?
I just do 6 gear the whole time.
Really?
Yep. Because rolling anti-lag, I can make 14 pounds of boost at 2,800 RPMs.
So you're starting your 60 to 130 in 6th gear.
Yep.
That's fucking wild. I think, what am I at?
Well,
4th, maybe?
fifth. I did 5th for that fast one that I've ran.
Okay.
But,
and do you want to share what you did second wise?
so the car went 449, 60 to 130 so far. And that's on the tune's still not finished. Like, I'm waiting for the tuner to get back to me. It's been 3 weeks now. I just want to get it on the dyno. I want to see what 26 pounds does.
While the weather's nice in Minnesota.
Let's say, are you still driving it around right now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been freaking
It's December 29th
degrees.
right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, my garage is heated, so it's not so bad. If it was parked outside, I probably wouldn't drive it, just because 50 weight oil and starting it up at 39 degrees probably isn't the best thing for it.
Are you running the Motorcraft 5W50, or what are you putting in it?
So I run Motul Sport 5W50, which is an ester-based synthetic.
Okay.
I ran the Motorcraft stuff and sent it off to Blackstone. And then I ran the Liquimoly 5W50, sent it off to Blackstone, ran Amsoil 5W50, sent it off to Blackstone, and then ran the Motul and sent it off to Blackstone. And every one of them came back, they were all pretty good, except for the Motorcraft one was actually the lowest one. But the Motul, I sent it in at 6,000 miles on the car. It had like 5 track days on it, couple autocross days, and a bunch of street driving on it. And they were like, yeah, you could probably run it for like another 2,000 to 3,000 miles. It's still got a 4.1 TBN base number, or the base additive package in it. And your wear numbers look better than most of the cars we see with, 3,000 miles on it, and you have 6,000. I was like, I can't justify putting 2,000 more miles on this oil. I'm going to change it anyways, but good to know.
Right. So I'm running Redline in mine is what I'm using, but I don't know any of that science stuff you just spit out.
Yeah. So you can literally go on Blackstone Laboratories website and hit a sample request button, and they'll send you like 4 bottles, and you just take an oil sample of the oil when you change the oil, put your label on it, fill out this little card, and mail it all in. And then depending on how busy they are, you might between 2 and 6 weeks get your email back with the little printout, and it'll show you like tin, copper, aluminum, all these different metals that are in the oil. You can pay an extra, I don't remember, I think it's like $10 or something to get like a base additive number as well, where they check how much of the oil has the properties that prevent acid buildup and all that stuff in it. And it's not something you need to do every time, but when I was doing oil testing, what better way than send it off and see which one causes the most wear. And when
once you have the information, then you've got it, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And when we tore the motor down to build it, it was like the block was as bright, shiny aluminum as you could ever imagine. It was, none of that yellow discoloring like you see in a lot of higher mileage, especially Euro cars, with people going 10,000 miles on an oil change. But yeah, it was super clean. The bearings look brand new. Like, I probably could have reused them if I wanted to, but we put a tri-layer bearing in it versus the factory ones. And the cylinder wall still had all the cross hatching on them. And it looked like a brand new motor, but it had 25,000 miles on it.
That's crazy.
probably 10,000 of those are track miles, between power cruises and road racing and open lap days and HPD days and time attacks. And
yeah, you did a lot with that car, especially that first year you got it. I mean, you drove
I drove it year round the first year. I put snow tires on it. I bought it in August of 2020, and it snowed like a month later. That first drive home, because I was at Eurocharge at the time, I couldn't even get out of the Eurocharge parking lot. Like, I had to get a running head start to get up that little runway at the back.
Yeah.
Yep. And Gabe, one of the guys that I worked with at the time, has a video of me just, flat footing it, traction control off, like 7th gear, trying to get up this hill, and the car just sliding back down.
I should text Gabe for that. Yeah, Gabe's good shit. He doesn't live here anymore, I don't think.
No, he's in Alabama now, I think.
Yeah, well, good for him. Change it up a little bit. Some sun down there.
Yeah, a little bit less snow.
Yeah.
I think they get snow down there still. Maybe.
Probably.
I don't think so. I have a friend of mine that's...
If it snows in Texas, I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, if you want to call that like a flash sprinkle of some snow that melts
makes
and it
the
hits
ground white.
Yeah, exactly.
Next morning, it's kind of like Colorado. They get 20 inches of snow and then it melts the next day.
They're ridiculous. I love Colorado for that reason. It's there for a moment and then it's 70 the next day. Just so wild. You should do that. So you've never done that Blackstone thing before?
No, I want to see how my red line stuff is. I have a full day of Road America driving with my car on it, and when I go to change it at the beginning of the season, I might send it off there and see how red line stacks up.
I never had good luck with red line or royal purple in any of my cars. Like my E36 M3, I tried royal purple back before they got bought out by the new company, and oil temps were like 310 degrees, and then I went to an AMSOIL on the next road course day, and it was like 250, like same weight oil, just a different brand. And it was like, okay, well, my oil temps aren't lying. It's 60 degrees cooler. The Motul stuff has been really good. We run it in a lot of cars. Liquid moly actually was the second best, which is what I run in a lot of the customer cars because it's significantly cheaper than the Motul. The Motul's like $100 for 5 liters, and my car takes 15 liters of oil.
Yeah.
So it's a rather expensive oil change.
Yeah.
And your average person doesn't want to pay that. The liquid moly is $47 or $48 for a 5-liter jug. So it's half the cost.
That's pretty on par. Yeah. Oh yeah. I use liquid moly in my car. So yeah, I think I want to say I spent like $70 or whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, there's lower grade Motuls like 8100 XS or the, God, what's the other one they have? They have quite a few, but that are significantly less. But the Sport and the B series are their ester-based synthetics, similar to what like an AMSOIL Dominator is. It's true synthetic-based stock, and they just cost a lot more. And then you're paying some tariffs and all that stuff because it's from overseas.
Yeah, but it's, if you consider what it can do for your engine, it's cheap insurance, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so I have to buy a whole case of Redline when I do it, 12 quarts, and it costs me about $130 or something to do an oil change. It's not horrible. What'd you say it was? It cost you what?
100. So it's $300 in oil every oil change.
$300. Okay. But if the numbers are there and it's not wearing your engine down faster, that adds up to.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've built a Coyote or not lately. But,
yeah.
I've
been through it a few times.
Yeah, they're it's real easy to spend $20,000+ on a Coyote that's built, and I'd rather not do that again anytime soon.
Did you rebuild yours once or twice?
So I popped my first one, and as I'm going back and looking at some of the things I'm seeing going on with these GT500 Whipples, I think my Whipple might have given out that first time around because I sent it down to John Bond in Iowa to had it rebuilt, and it had some issues. I was like, it shouldn't have issues. I've only had it on for about 5,000 miles. But anyway, that one roached, and then I bought an already built short block from Dan Schonek down in Disco Dan in southern Minnesota. So
fucking A.
Yeah, right. That guy knows how to party too. Another Mustang guy, a little crazy guy. Anyway, he had a one that he had built for a blower car he was going to do it and everything. It was an MPR built 5.2 block. Everything all the way fully built except for sleeves.
Yep.
And then I fucked that one up too. So, but playing with fire, trying to do things I shouldn't be doing on pump gas. But,
that's your problem right there.
Yeah, I've realized the error in my ways trying to have a rally car that I didn't have to run E85, and I've just decided that's just a necessity at this case.
Well, there's this wonderful company here in Minnesota that produces
race gas.
Yeah, race gas additive.
That's Dan sent me to them too.
Yep.
That's so.
So the owner's name is actually Dan.
Yeah.
And his business partner. They're awesome guys. So that's Diversified Cryogenics, FrozenRotors.com. They've been one of my best supporters / sponsor on my car with all the braking stuff on it, and it's phenomenal. So my X5, I just put frozen rotors, slotted cryo-treated rotors with hawk pads in it, and every vehicle I own has cryo-treated rotors and some sort of aftermarket pad in it, just because I don't have to do brakes as often.
Yeah.
They just last longer.
How was it for dust?
So this on the X5, I went with the Hawk ceramics, which are virtually no dust in comparison to the factory OEM BMW pads, which are dust monsters.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Haven't had them on long enough to really give real feedback because I have
Right.
the winter wheels on it, and I don't think I've ever washed them.
So what was that company called again?
Frozen Rotors.
I think so. Was it you that brought it? Somebody brought them up on this podcast before too. Somebody was talking about doing cryogenic stuff and all
Yep.
that.
So they do a ton of. I mean, they'll cryo treat. Like my crank in my car is cryo treated.
Mine had a cryo-treated crank in it.
It basically just micro aligns the grain structure of the metal after it's heated and formed and forged and everything like that. You're going to get some misalignment in the metal, and when you cryo treat it, it allows the metal to go back to its natural state without changing its dimensions. So dimensionally, the crank doesn't change any shape, but the internal structure is much more aligned. Mm-hmm. It also is kind of like the final step. Like you harden something, and then you cryo treat it after you harden it, and you have this extremely hard surface. So that allows your bearings and your oil layer to work better because now it's got an extremely hard surface as well. Before in fact, my personal Mustang, we took the stock rotors off after 5,000 miles, and I brought them down, he did his in-house slotting on them, and then cryo treated them, and I'm still on the same front rotors, 27,000 miles, 3 sets of pads on them.
Some hard braking too.
Really hard braking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next year we're, I talked to him down at PRI, and Mark and I talked quite a bit. Next year we're going to go to a much more aggressive track pad just because of the power the car's making, and then a full floating 2-piece, like a gyro disc type or a PFC floating two-piece rotor.
Okay.
Like what would come on the GT500?
Yeah, similar.
Sure. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
That's gonna be rowdy.
Yeah, I mean, the car pulls 1.83 G's braking right now, so I can only imagine what it'll do with more pad. I think I'm gonna have to upgrade so Ford sells the Boss 302R ABS module that you can run as a standalone ABS module, and it's designed for slicks. So the ABS intervention threshold is much higher than the road going version, and there's guys that have dropped like a half a second to a second of a lap just by changing ABS modules to this
really
higher performing one. Get a bunch of idiot lights on the car, but it's one of those things that if I cage the car, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this, and it's probably going to get a standalone in it, and it'll get the
Well, that's what they make black electrical tape for. You just cover all those lights up and then you're good to go.
I mean, so that's, first of all, it's never ending on what you can do. Like, the sky's the limit, which is awesome, and also not awesome because your wallet. But so are you considering putting a cage in then?
We're going to see how. Right now, my main focus is the business.
Of course.
The car's done. It's fun. The only other thing I have planned for it is I have that weld drag pack for it, and I'm going to get. And we picked up Viking as a vendor, and we're going to put some Viking long travels in the front, and probably a set of their triple adjustables in the back. And the goal is when the new alignment rack comes, I already have all the adjustable stuff in the back. I'm going to baseline it for Roadcourse with the MCS setup in it. Mm-hmm. I'll pull the MCS out, which is 4 bolts aside in the back because they're actual coilover. Pull them out, swap in the Vikings, And then in the front, it's camber caster plate that's already set for road racing. Unbolt that, unbolt the 2 strut bolts, change a complete strut assembly out, and now I've got a drag suspension in 45 minutes. And then it's just a matter of, okay, how many turns on the tie rod ends does it take to get to X toe for drag racing versus the road course setup? And then how many turns in the rear camber and toe arm does it take to get it to 0 camber and the correct toe for that? Because as you move camber in the rear of these cars, the toe changes as well.
Yep.
So baseline that so that I can do that at the track, because the car's an unlimited class car now. So I can run any tire, any wheel I want, and I can change them from autocross to drag racing to time attack. So if I can change the drag setup and have the car cut a 1/160 foot and run a deep 8,
Dude,
I only need 1 pass to count, and they can kick me out after that.
you know you did it. Yeah.
Done, you know.
Yeah.
What's the best 60 foot you've ever done?
1.7 in the car, stock converter.
No, but I mean ever. Is it still that car?
I've driven a few drag cars for customers that I've built just to show them what the cars will do. I've gone 1.3.
Okay.
And in a stick shift
Fox
body. Face plated, Liberty's face plated, 414 stroker and a 351 Windsor based motor. And the car went 10-0, like 10-0 flat. Perfect index car, but stick car. So it was just flat foot shift at every gear and just hold on, shift 1-2 with the front tires off the ground. It was fun. That first sub 1.6 60 foot though, if you don't have your helmet against the seat, it's a little interesting.
Okay.
So
that's awesome. I was just curious because when I went out to Great Lakes Dragaway over there, Adam was experimenting with his 60 foot, trying to dial his car in, and I think he's on our 888Rs maybe or whatever. So street tire still.
Yeah.
And I think he was consistently getting a 1.5, with barely any wiggle room. So it's like if you were to take it,
1.5 on an R888R is moving out because those tires suck.
Yeah. I saw. So I think it was in a draggy forum. I'm sure you're in there too. I think 160,000 people are in that forum.
Yep.
Somebody got everybody going on our 888s, they suck, and then the comment section exploded. But I think there's some variations.
All the memes of people pouring Tabasco in their eye. And it says people that think our 888Rs are a good tire at anything.
Well, they're like a street. They're like an equivalent to PS4s, right? I mean,
they are the worst 100 treadwear tire that you can put on your car.
Really?
They are not great at anything. Drive an R888R in the rain.
But
I have. It's scary. Dude, I managed to brake. It was just sprinkling, and I was driving a 650 wheel GTR, nothing crazy, and I feathered the throttle and just kicked out the back end. I'm like, this car's all-wheel drive, and I'm about to crash it.
Yep.
So what tire do you suggest?
Depends on what application. For autocross, I run an AO52 Yokohama or a Nanking CRS.
Yep, that's what I've heard from people.
The Nankings are cheaper, so if it's not a big competition or payout, I'll run those because they do last longer. AO52 is the king in autocross. It comes on immediately. It's it's consistent. They don't like a lot of laps, whereas the Nanking I can still do some HPDE stuff on the road course with. Road course this year we're running Hoosier R7, so we're going full sticker, full slicks.
And then what about drag?
Drag, really personal preference. A lot of the Mustang guys are running the ET Street R 315, 50,
That's the one I
17.
hear about all the time.
Good street tire though. I mean, 555 R2s from Nitto.
Oh, really? Okay.
For straight line acceleration, for a tire that you can actually drive on the street, it's probably, if you can dial in your boost curve and everything like that and have some adjustability, there's guys running 370, 60 to 130s on a 275 Nitto 555R.
Okay.
The treadwear, they keep tread for quite a while too. I've had mine on forever, and I feel like I'm just now burning them down to having to replace them.
Yeah, they wear pretty considerably good for what they are.
Yes.
Not it's not a tire you're going to go 50,000 miles on, but for what it is, you can probably squeeze 10,000 miles out of one.
Yeah.
Depending on how many actual pulls one makes and burnouts and stuff like that. But street tires, I run Continental Extreme Contact Sports. It's a 340 treadwear tire. I actually run them for rain days on the Roadcourse too. They're really good in the rain. I had PS4s. I wasn't a fan.
Really? Okay. I want to try Extreme Contacts next. All I've really known is PS4s in my cars. So
the PS4 is a great tire. It's a little greasy when it's cold, and it gets really greasy when it's hot.
Okay.
I noticed that towards the end of my sessions at Road America that I felt like I was on oil slicks there for a little bit because they get real hot.
Yep. And I've never felt that with the Continentals. Like, they're pretty consistent. They last longer than the PS4s. I think the PS4 is slightly better in the rain when new, but you get to 50% tread on those, and it's
50%. Wow, I got down to like 10%. Dude, I was running overinflated too, because like one, I'm an idiot, but two, just didn't care. And it's like, if you, I want to say 30,000.
You were just going for that gas mileage, weren't you?
Yeah.
50 pounds of air. Yeah, sure.
What kind of idiot buys slicks? Just sand down your tires. Yeah, I think I got 30,000 miles out of those. It was, if I showed you a picture, you'd be like, yikes. Like, I was almost on cords.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I went with PS4s. You can't Google this question because you're going to get 1,000 different answers from 1,000 different people. It's such an insane thing. It's like asking people what kind of oil to run.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everybody sticks to what they like.
Yep.
Yeah, and find something that works for you, and if it works for you, good.
Yeah.
What we tell people in the autocross world that are just getting into it, though, is, brakes and tires are the first, before you do any suspension mods, period. Just go out there, put a good tire on it and a good set of brake pads in it and good brake fluid.
Yep.
And learn the car and its limits with stock suspension before you go and change things. And you will be a better driver, because the car's got body roll, and body roll's not necessarily bad. It's transferring weight to that outside tire.
It's traction.
Yeah. It just feels really weird, especially in like autocross where you're transitioning left, right. And
I loved that.
It's like,
that was so fun.
Whereas you get in my car and it's like, that's why I had to put the race seat in it. Like,
I was going to ask you.
My knees were bruised from holding myself in the seat, because I run a 315 all the way around on my car. So it's got incredible front grip, and it changes directions immediately. And
I think that's the first time in 64 episodes anyone said my knees are bruised.
The sides, not the front.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd get off the road course too, and like my legs would hurt from holding against this door card and the center console area. It was bad. And now with the seat, you'd get, your arms would get tired faster. Now it's with the race seat in there. I've got a 6-point harness, Hans device, fire suit. We put fire suppression in the car this year.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And fire scares the shit out of me.
It should. Yeah, rightfully so.
And my car's got like 90 feet of AN hose underneath it. So it's like at any point something, it's all really good, high quality stuff, and everything's heat sleeved, and it's just a what if. So
nothing is scarier. Like, again, I watched, I watched the Gran Turismo movie. When that guy hits the wall, it just explodes immediately. It's like, and granted that's, a movie, but like, I've seen even like videos on like Instagram, like when somebody, like I was Road America actually, right into turn 1, somebody lost their brakes and whacked the wall, and the car was on fire within seconds. And it's like, after you hit a wall at 100 something miles an hour, you're disoriented,
or you broke something,
broke something. So it's like, or both. It's like, you want those extra precious seconds, or put it out.
And quite a few of the autocross guys were like, well, why do you wear it for autocross? I'm like,
you wear some autocross too?
Some of these autocross events, we hit 120 miles an hour, and like, shit can happen. So I'm going to wear everything. I've got kids to worry about, and
it's like, why chance it?
Yeah, why chance it? I spent the money on it, I'm going to wear it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you invested the money in the suit anyway, so.
Yeah, so we'll put it on. My daughter, 6 years old, really big into four-wheelers now. We've got her a Polaris Outlaw 70. She had her first big crash the other day, and she had full gear on. She walked away. I mean, she flew 25 feet from where she she hit one of our tractors at the farm. Four-wheeler stopped dead at 18 miles an hour, which is top speed on it. And she just kept going and cracked her helmet and, took a little hit on her chest protector. And she got a little scratch right above where the knee pad was on her leg. Got up and was like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay, Dad. But
she got that wind knocked out of her.
Yeah. And she, she's like, well, now we got to buy a new helmet, Dad, and I want a pink one this time. I don't want a black one.
Yeah. Dude, that girl's gonna be trouble. she's gonna have all the same hobbies as you, man.
She already told me she wants a Porsche 911 Turbo in pink.
Okay.
And that's the only thing I can sell the Mustang for.
Okay.
I told her I don't think I could drive a pink Porsche.
Dude, but some guy, it's a funny story. So my mom has a pink Jeep, right? And it's like sometimes I'll borrow it or whatever, because the hoopty's down or getting worked on or whatever. And sometimes like I'll go pick up a friend. They're like, I'm not getting in that car. I'm like, how fucking emasculating.
Are you the Mary Kay lady?
What's that?
The Mary Kay lady? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So they give away pink Cadillacs.
Pink Cadillacs.
And
and it'd say like Mary Kay edition on it, and it was like lipstick pink.
This is like a limited edition by Jeep or whatever. It's like I forgot what it was called or whatever. But
so it's not wrapped. It actually is a.
No, it actually is like factory color. Yeah,
okay.
It's like a rare edition, whatever. But no, it's like some dudes just get so
Leave it to Mopar.
I don't care. Well, you got daughter or daughters. I've got 3 daughters. I'll drive something pink. I don't give a shit. My wife's car, her plates say her 50, and I drive it sometimes. Although I did tint the windows when I was driving it for quite a while there, for a little bit. I just like the fact that I can go out and whoop on somebody, and then when they look at the plate and it says her 50, I want them to just feel freaking emasculated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, sometimes I'll wear like a pink shirt or something, and some other dudes be like, the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, it's a pink shirt. Calm the fuck down. It's a fucking shirt. I'll never understand that. But no, dude. And so when did she crash? Earlier this week, you said?
No, earlier this summer.
Oh, this summer. Okay, I was about to say she was running fast the other day.
It was probably it was fall because it was October. We harvested late, so we were changing fuel filters on all the tractors and getting everything ready for fall harvest. And I had it parked out in front of the shed, and she was getting daring and sliding corners and learning to drift corners and just having a blast. And next thing I know, she bang right into this front tire of the tractor because she swung the ass end too wide and couldn't correct it in time. And
vehicle control. That's how you learn it.
Well, technically they're not supposed to ride them until they're 7, according to the sticker on the side of it. But we're fucking farm boys around here. We she's been riding it since she was 4. So
yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter, I went and got her a tech vest for her snowmobile this year just because I want to keep her organs where they need to be and all that stuff if she hits something.
Yeah, it's kind of important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she just upgraded to a 1000cc 4-stroke Yamaha, so she's going a little faster than.
Did you get her a nitro?
No. She has ridden my nitro though, but no, she's on a Viper.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Her and I put 2,000 miles on last year riding sleds.
Ain't doing that this year.
No, I know, right? Maybe.
I put the snow tires on 2 months ago, and I'm like, I could still be running around on the nice 20s right now.
Yeah.
This is an abnormal winter here for us right now.
I know, it's crazy.
We've definitely. So somebody shared it. It was actually a Minnesota page or whatever shared it. It's we've had brown Christmases before. It's every 4th year, but this is still on the warm end.
But it's still normally 8 degrees outside. It's not normally 50 degrees.
It was 54 degrees while we were all down in PRI.
Yeah, it rained for 3 days here too. It was weird.
Yeah, we got 3 inches of rain.
Yeah,
it's getting back to normal.
That would have been 3 feet of snow.
Yes, it would.
That would have been rowdy.
Yeah.
I feel bad for all the people that bought new sleds this year.
I have a buddy of mine that did. I bought my new sled last year, which was epic snow. So
Yep. Last year was good snow this year.
I wonder if Sean sold his. I think he did. I don't know how to check on that because I know he was trying to get rid of 2 sleds that have been sitting there forever. On the autocross front. So when I've only done one autocross event this year, and that's when my brakes were cooked. They should have been changed 2 millimeters ago. It was rough. Yeah. So, but I wanted to benchmark what I could do. So that was kind of fun. And then I, brought it to Ratified immediately after, and it was rough. I had to do, everything.
And that was up at Morgan's.
Yeah,
At
yep.
the St. Cloud.
Yeah, I hope they bring back we talked about it. I hope they bring back the St. Cloud location. But again, he was very transparent on the costs of the event.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It ain't cheap. And if you don't have sponsors or somebody on board, it's tricky. But I love that facility.
We got to
over there.
remember, Rich and I did the timing for Mike for many years to get it going. This was the first year we didn't do timing for Mike.
Okay.
We just got between Rich's business taking off, me doing this.
Well, then
the only
I just hear you're running a farm or doing farm stuff too. Those
Oh,
guys
yeah,
never
yeah.
have time either. How do you sleep?
Sometimes.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so the only autocross we did timing for this year was Street Machine Nationals. And we've been, we're going to continue to do that. We talked to those guys down at PRI again. And they're excited to have us do it again. They've gotten, since we took over doing it, this was our third year this year. And this is Rich's wheelhouse. I'm just helping them through it all, but they love the way that we run it. They love the way that we get people interacted. We all bring our personal cars down and do, like somebody in this crowd wants to go for a lap on the autocross thing during sessions. We just load the cars up and just back-to-back runs and throw a new person in every time. And, it's fun,
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I don't think I'm going to get any new tires quite yet. I think I'll stick with the PS4s because I want to say they're fairly fresh, but we'll see. I'm going to just try to roast everything this year. But again, it's all baseline. It's all seat time. I could even get new tires and new brakes, new everything. I could upgrade everything. Nothing's going to shave more time off than seat time.
Nope.
Even for example, this is totally different. We were doing the Sims down at PRI. It's like,
yeah, we were there too.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time there.
So we went from day 1 to day 2. It's like I shaved off, I want to say 2 seconds off Watkins Glen, which is, a 1:09 track when we were doing it, and I shaved off 2 seconds. It's like the best time was 1:04. I'm like, oh man, if I could just spend like a day here, I bet you I could shave off another second or two. It's like, yeah. I don't know.
I was just chatting with Mike on Facebook. I built a sim at home too, and I've had it built for a few days now. I've maybe an hour collectively of seat time in it so far. My kids have been using it. I've been doing other stuff. I haven't had any time to sit in it, but yeah, I've been practicing at Road America, but I'm not getting that much better yet.
I find the Sims. I never played video games growing up, so I get in a sim and it's different. But yeah, after like 6-7 laps, it's like, okay, I'm starting to get the feel of this thing and how its feedback is. But it's no different than jumping in somebody else's car, and you go out and you don't go 100% lap 1 because you don't know the car, you don't know its characteristics and stuff like that. So in that way, the Sims do help.
I got it. I'm really curious to learn tracks too. So I've been on Road America, so that's the one I've been practicing on, just because I know where the turns are and all that stuff. So kind of getting an idea where I'm braking, stuff like that. But if we end up at some other tracks, I'm gonna run it for an hour on my sim so that I got an idea of where the turns are and what's going on.
They got Ozarks on there yet?
I'm not sure.
That is a track that I want to go to.
I've heard it's scary with the blind hill.
Like every hill, it's all hills,
really,
and then followed by a turn.
It's a lot of elevation change. I heard it was so Cannonball went down there to Cannonball Rally. I think they went last year or the year before, and I think they were the first rally there, the first event there, and everybody had a blast. But they said they were shitting their pants over those hills, especially one hill.
Oh yeah, yep.
I'm going to take a second to support the home team. Many of you know the podcast is based out of Ratified Motorsports, who make some of the sickest builds out here. That dyno you all hear downstairs has seen some serious cars. Whether you're looking for a standard tune for your cute little Volkswagen to a full-on Supra or RS3 build, you should give Ratified a call to get the sauce. Check out ratifiedmotorsport.com/performance to see what they can do for you. Let's get back to the show.
But the cool thing is they designed that track with runoff room on every one of those corners. Okay. So what I've been told is, Alex Sajati, when he went down there with his Porsche for the club racing, he's like, that track is phenomenal. And they designed it so well, and I have to go. It's on my list.
Okay.
I was gonna go last year. The car wasn't done. They had an open track day. I booked it, thinking the car was gonna be done, and then the business thing took off, and car wasn't done, and I was just like, meh, whatever. Gave it to another buddy that ended up going, and he just said it was a blast. So
okay. I want to get Alex on the podcast. Yeah, I just hit him up the other day too, because like it's been I want to say a year or two since I've seen him. I've seen him at Caffeine and Octane, but I want to go try out his sim again. Because the last time I tried his sim, this is like when he was just getting into racing. I know it's a boring story. I'm sorry, but it's like I sucked at the sim, dude. Like he's like, because I tried to drive. He had his GT4 Cup car in there or whatever.
Yep.
And I bitch about Porsches on sims all the time. I can't drive them. I don't know what it is. Like I feel like I'm on the marbles all the time. I cannot control them. I might just suck too. But then he's like, yeah, let's get you into something a little bit easier. It gives me the Formula One car because it's, planted or whatever. So I'm like, all right, this is kind of cool. But now that I actually have driving skills, I'd like to pretend. I want to try to see what I think of his sim versus Dan's sim. And then we're going to buy a sim next year too. So
yeah, I've been talking to P1 about getting one of their
those are
sims.
crazy.
They were the ones that were, on the side with the trailers.
Yeah, we tried them.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
They're the one that had the biggest, flashiest setup there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had like
Yeah.
6 sims in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking at like a P2. I think they call it the P2 Ultimate. So it's got the D-box movement and all that stuff. It's not the P3, which is the big one with the huge screens.
Yeah.
I felt like that one was too unrealistic because like the screens are huge and it's almost like semi-width.
Yeah.
Whereas the P2, it felt like you're more in like a cockpit.
Which is that the one that we tried?
I think so. We didn't do that one in the corner that had the 55-inch screens.
Yeah,
It was insane what they had, and not to mention those screens are like $3,500 a piece or something like that.
Stupid. So okay, if you remember the event, are you talking about the ones that were on the left side or the right side?
So the food court, say this is the food court right here, and then the trailers are right here. It was the ones right here, and then they had the little trailer set up here with the 3 sims in it.
Okay.
It was these guys right here.
Okay.
Oh, so it wasn't Podium 1.
No, it was
Was
Podium
it
1.
Podium
Because
1?
the other one is the
We talked
one
to
in the
Podium 1 and then
trailer.
Camille.
the one in the trailer.
Yep.
Those were like the $75,000-$80,000 ones.
No, the trailer ones, that's Camille. He's the guy out of Chicago. The one where they were in the actual trailer.
Not the one where they were in the trailer. So
Oh.
he was like over here.
Yep.
And then they had Podium 1 right here, and then there was that other trailer over here that had like the rooftop simulator.
Oh,
They
okay,
had the one
yep, I know
simulator
what
up
you're
on the
talking about,
rooftop.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was like the food court's here. It was like off in the corner. But those guys' simulators were like $75,000-$80,000.
That's crazy.
Whereas
Shit.
Podium, P1s were, you can get one for $5,000 or you can spend $40,000.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so the one that Camille runs in the sim racing Chicago stuff, I think he said on a low end, some of his are like what, 18?
No, that's for pretty much a full motion one. He's got like $5,000-$6,000 options, but you're not going to get motion.
Yeah.
The one I built at home, I probably have with PC included, so I had to build a gaming PC, but I went to Micro Center and they put everything in a cart. I bolted it all together just like you would any car parts, so
Yep.
there isn't that fucking complicated. Turn it on, boot Windows.
Yep.
So anyway, $1,700 in a PC, so I have maybe $4,000 into my rig, but I went with haptics. I'm not sold on the motion is that big of a deal. So the car tips a little bit when you're driving, but emotion doesn't simulate the G's anyway.
no,
so
it's more about for what they were telling me and what a few people that get really big into sim is
Yep.
like it's more to simulate like the rumble strips.
So I did butt kicker. So I have haptic feedback. So it will shake the living shit out of my rig when I hit the rumble strips.
You just like sitting on something that shakes.
Absolutely, yeah. I got a little, I put a little something on the seat first before I sit down.
Mustang owners.
It does a really good job. You can feel the engine. You can do all that. It's even my steering wheel has haptics to it too. So I think that is and that's only a $400 add-on instead of $5,000 for motion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what him and I were having that conversation. I was like, I don't know if I can justify that price of what the motion puts into a rig, but
Yeah, and that's again where I want to try out a few different
Yep.
ones to see because like again Alex, you, and then I just remember one of my other buddies. I think he has almost 10 into his rig. It's like I want to try that too, but it's like for example those stupid monitors that are $3,500 a piece. Like get the fuck out of here. It's like I don't need that.
you get $300 like 1440p
yeah.
Like
curved monitors.
I've got a Sony 65-inch A95L OLED at home, and it's
Yeah.
like that wasn't even $3,500. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I can't justify $3,500
No.
times 3 for 3 monitors for a simulator that is probably going to not get used as much as I would want it to get used.
I have a 55 on mine right now, just real close, and I don't care that there's not screens on the side. I am going to do a triple monitor setup just because it's really not that expensive to do it. But yeah, I don't really give a shit. I'm looking at the track, the steering wheel. There's got a little rearview mirror when you see who's behind you. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I like the triple monitor. I'll have to try yours to see where I'm at on it, but
it's coming. I just bought a car, so I'm not gonna spend $1,000 on monitors right now. But
oh yeah, you spent a lot on that car.
Yeah.
Hey, there's his 2 monitors right there.
Yeah, right. That's 6 monitors sitting out there.
Yeah.
That's for playing bumper cars, which is way more fun.
Yeah.
Realistic simulator.
That's how I have to sell this stuff to my wife, man. I'm not gonna do monitors right now. I just bought a car, you know.
This is Sims in real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even know why you even bought a stupid sim when you got that car. Now you can just go over to Lake Street a little bit, just drive around. Oh, sorry, mailbox. Dude, Sean used to have a story that he would tell. I can't remember who it was. I'm not gonna. Actually, I know who it was. I'm not gonna disclose it. But somebody took out his mailbox, and he's like, "Dude, that was just hell." Because like the mail people did not know where to drop off, the mail or all that fun stuff.
It's like laid on the ground there where the thing was.
he put it back into concrete the next time, so nobody would take it out. So remind me again, what was the size of your turbos that you're running now?
57 mils.
Okay.
So they're literally like bottom of the barrel Borg Warner S257 SXEs.
Oh.
I do have the new Borg S200Rs coming for it. Basically, the 257 SXEs are rated at 650 horsepower each. We're going to find the limit of them at the top, 26, 27 pounds on that motor. The 200Rs are rated at 775 each. Okay. And it literally drops in. I take 4 bolts off, slide the CHRA and the front compressor cover off, slide the new CHRA and compressor cover in, put 4 bolts in on the exhaust turbine housing, and swap over my feed and return lines, and done.
Wow.
Nice and easy.
And I'm not gonna put them on until we dyno with the 257s.
Right. You want to get a baseline.
And then we'll put the 200Rs on and see how much more headroom there is. Because again, unsleeved block, I'm already into potential damage area at 1,300 plus wheel horsepower. Mm-hmm. So, and 10Rs, they don't like to live much past that. Although there are some people pushing. There's a guy that just made 1,900 wheel horsepower in a 10-speed, and it's like, for how long? How long will that last?
Yeah.
Will it shift at 1,900 wheel horsepower? Sure, it made a single gear dyno pull, but will it shift at that?
Right.
So,
is there a reason why, and this might be a stupid question, why somebody would go twins over a single, or what are you gaining over twins? Because I have a friend of mine too. Is like, you just need one big one. I mean, is there?
I feel like it depends on purpose, right?
Look at what DeVito just did with his car. He just got rid of the big single and went to twins, smaller twins. They spool easier.
It might have been DeVito that I was talking to when he first opened his shop, because I was thinking I wasn't sure which route to go, and he was like, "I don't need twins, just go single."
Yeah, so he just pulled the single off and went to twins on his car. I think he had like a GT55X on it, some big Garrett, and the car made good power. It made like 1,750 horsepower, but it took forever to get up on the chip to leave the line at the drag strip. And I don't know, 3,300 RPMs full spool in my car. Doesn't matter what gear it's in. It's just always on.
Really?
So, and then rolling anti-lag, so you don't even have to brake boost the thing. You just tap the cruise control button, hold that down and floor it, and whatever speed you're going, it keeps you right there. And just all of a sudden you can just watch the boost gauge just go dink.
Then you just let off the button.
And hold on.
Yeah.
Be prepared to counter steer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I showed you the video the other day at the track where it's or at the track.
Mm-hmm.
Where I did the 60 to 130 run, and it was just the whole time just sawing at the steering wheel because it's on street tires and it was 43 degrees outside. But
oh wow,
it was boost weather.
How's the traction management in those?
What traction management?
Okay, fair enough. Have you ever considered like going up to like a Motec or anything, or not really?
So, Motec makes a plug and play for the car. It is about $15,000 all said and done.
Yeah, sounds about right.
As you know, my business partner, tuned by Sean, Haltech. So we're going to put a Haltech Nexus R5 in the car before we do anything else. And at that point, it would probably get a 6XD sequential.
Okay.
So it'd be less drag focused at that time, but a lot better on the road course. So that's why I'm kind of torn right now. Like honestly, the car is, at the current power level at 16 pounds of boost, I have found where my daughter is finally uncomfortable when I floor it in the car. 14 pounds, she's fine. She'll sit back there, woohoo, happy. 16 pounds, she's, nope, Dad, don't floor it anymore. That scared me. Nope.
So what's it making at about 14?
Again, I haven't had on the dyno. So the Mustang that I just did at 1040 wheel horsepower is the same pounds per minute of airflow as my car is.
Okay.
At 16 pounds.
Okay.
So it's probably, in that 1,000 to 1,100 range, somewhere in there.
Yeah. This year I finally
got. But the car is also 600 pounds lighter than it was last year.
Oh yeah, you did a ton of weight reduction.
So we're not 4,050 pounds with me in the car anymore. We're 3,500 pounds with me in the car now.
Where the hell did you find 600 pounds to take out? That's a lot. That's all of us at this table combined, by the way.
So carbon Kevlar seats, the Steeda Road Race K member, getting rid of the blower and going to the turbos. The actual turbo kit weighs less than the Supercharger kit. It's got, I kind of went crazy on the build. So it's got titanium charge pipes. It's got, a lot of weight is moved around. Aluminum control arms now instead of steel. And then some other spots that nobody will ever know, but there's weight pulled out of the car in places that it's a lot more balanced now this year too. Last year we were like 55-45 weight split, and we're like 50.5, 49.5 this year. Mm-hmm. So we'll put some more weight back in it with aero, but it's not going to be a ton because it's going to get a big wang.
Is it a stock hood too?
With like stock hood with race
slits.
Louvers, yep.
Yeah, louvers, yeah.
And you were going to do a pillar mounted like GT3 wing, are you? Is that what you were? Yeah.
I want to do like a swan mount.
We don't talk about that, Dan. No.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. That's going to be so cool.
So, yeah, and to do that, you have to go to a Lexan rear window. And again, that's all stuff that I'd love to keep this car and just keep it a fun street car and go buy like a 15 that's got a blown motor and take all the road race stuff out of this car and put it in that and just have a nasty, like do a 5.5 stroker Coyote, put a sequential in it, put a cage in it, and just have it as a track toy, and then just keep this one for fun. But that's kind of where I'm torn right now. It's like you get all this power and you're like, God, it'd be fun to go out and click off, shoot for a 7, and it probably won't run that with the power that it has, but a really deep 8 is possible.
Right.
But then you're going to get kicked out. Mm-hmm. So you're only going to get 1-2 runs in. And at the end of the day, it's still just a fun street car. Like I go and get Target pickup order with the car. Mm-hmm. It's dead silent inside of it. It's quieter than stock with the turbos on it. It's just a...
Oh, I love the sound, by the way. You posted a video of... well, first of all, when you were complaining, like, I can't say I built this all by myself anymore. That was super funny, by the way.
Yeah.
But it sounds really good.
Yeah.
At least in the video. And I think
in person, it sounds... It's a very unique sound.
I was disappointed I was not at the shop yesterday.
It'll be there tomorrow.
Well, I won't be there tomorrow. Or Sunday. Yeah, that thing is...
Well, that's when you pick up your S650 now and you start building that, and then you make that full-blown race car. I mean, a shop's got to have a shop car, right? That's a write-off.
I mean, my Mustang is the shop car.
Yeah.
And then we have the RX-8 as well with the K24 swap in it, that 4-piston motor, and
Yeah, that thing was cool.
all that fun stuff that we're just that'll be fun next year as well. But I'm really looking forward to 2024 for Minnesota in general. Like all these big power cars coming out. We got Mike Johnson. We got the one that I just finished up that made 1120. We've got
A lot
of, Bryce has been pumping out some, still hasn't made that magic 1,000 horsepower on that dyno up there. But,
well, the thing is like, it's hard to get people on that platform to, at least in this area, to do stuff. Like in Texas, everybody and their mothers, tuning up Hellcats. Up here, it's either to take over kids or older guys. It's a tough audience up here. So I think Bryce is warming them up. But we'll see.
We threw that Mustang because we went and put it on the hub dyno because we had to do a bunch of steady state drivability because it's 35, 40 degrees now, and I'm not taking 1,000 plus wheel horsepower car out to do driving. And we swung by Moe's on the way back and just threw it on the dyno just to see what it would make on theirs and show Bryce, typical Bryce fashion. It won't make 1,000 on this dyno. Nothing makes 1,000 on this dyno. Wow.
The numbers don't even go that high.
We made over 1,000 on their dyno spinning. So
dude, I gotta get him back on here, dude. He has such good energy. He's like, nah, there's no way. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
His facial expressions are so on point.
Dude, Bryce and I send. When people are like, well, how do you guys talk on Instagram? We don't. We communicate by reels.
Yeah. I got to get you guys on here together.
Like, there's some nights where it's 40 reels back and forth. And just not a single text is written. It's just we're carrying on a conversation by reels. Reel after reel after reel. And, Bryce is good shit. He's a really good person. And that's a lot like Rat. Trey, AJ over at Eurocharge, like all these guys in this community, like it's, there's so much work here in Minnesota that, I have Rat work on my own Volkswagen because I don't want to work on it myself. That's what they specialize in. Here you go, Rat, fix this. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and we got a lot of talent here too, I think. And I think now, with MAP, fucking off, a lot of that talent got redistributed too. So it's interesting to see where people are landing right now.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, Matt's been helping me out on the shop on the weekends, and
oh, that's right, yeah.
Yep, and he's coming in tomorrow again to work on that Mosler for me, and
yeah,
I'll be finishing up the Anglia and just get work done, and it's nice that these guys want to that everyone can work together, and there's no hard feelings, I guess is the best way to say it.
Well, it doesn't look like any of you guys are running short on work. It's not like you need to be, I need all of it. Everybody seems to be pretty damn busy. Everybody's expanding. This is Rat's second location. Mo's expanding. You're expanding. Like, everybody's growing. So it's not like you need to be arm wrestling the work away from everybody.
No, and and honestly, customers see that when you act that way. Mm-hmm. The best thing you can do is, I learned a long time ago that if I'm not the expert at something and somebody else is, and that's what they want, just send them there.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to gain that customer back for something else down the road because they were like, hey, this guy was honest with me and, told me to go check with these guys. Like, there's plenty of work to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all expanding. It makes me regret going to college. Should have went to fucking trade school.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
Dude, I honestly, like, one of these days I might just take up an internship at somebody's shop. Just be like, teach me everything.
There's good money in service writing. There's good I mean, as long as you're a personable person, which you are.
I wouldn't be doing this podcast otherwise.
I just really I like the industry. I like, I worked in the medical field for 14 years.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And, people are like, well, why are you working on cars? I'm like, well, honestly, I don't make that much less, and my day's a lot less stressful, and there's way more stuff. Like, people have known about the human anatomy and bodies and anatomy and physiology for 3,000 plus years, you know. Cars are ever evolving, so there's always something new to learn, some new CAN protocol, some new design, some new engine design, you know. There's always something to learn or expand your knowledge on, and I like learning. So the automotive field was an easy pick because I can always learn something new. You know, what are you going to learn? Yeah, there's rare diseases and stuff like that, but what, are you going to see those in your lifetime? Probably not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could think of one time, you know, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, you know.
We don't have to go down
It was
that
at
road.
band camp, right?
Well, that's what I liked about things like PRI and SEMA, right? So I went this year to both for the first time ever.
I know, I was there.
Yeah, and
He likes to keep
Were you at
reminding us.
PRI.
Yeah.
I was seeing things like there was solution to problems that I was having with certain things in car parts and things like that. I was like, I didn't even know that product existed. Like, that is pretty cool. That is neat. I'm going to have to look into that. There was something specifically, but I don't remember what it was, so now I'm going to have to figure it out all over again. But hey, man.
Something on the GT500.
No, it was something. It was a product. It might even have been a tool to like do a certain thing. That was like, man, how would I fix this? And then this guy's like, you just fucking do this. And so it's it was really neat to go see some of the stuff that you wouldn't unless you're specifically searching out that problem.
Well, and that's the beauty of PRI is like, yeah, the new products coming out is cool, but getting to go face to face with your vendors that you work with every day and continue to build that relation. You know, I landed more vendors after the show at, you know, local watering holes, sitting there bullshitting with them than actually at the show. You know, like one of the guys that I've been trying to get for a really long time happens to be a sponsor for two guys that I know down there. That one's the NASA TT2 champion and one in a Mustang. He's got an 18 A10 car that he races in NASA, and then the other one's got a GT500 that's twin turboed that I just met this year, and he was the Grid Life Unlimited class time attack champ, and they're both sponsored by this vendor. And they were like, "Oh, you've been trying to get with them? Well, the owner's right here, sitting buying us drinks right now. Let's go chat." And you know, like, boom, now I'm a distributor for them, and you know, I won't say who yet because we still got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be launching come first of the year for the shop and stuff like that. But you know, we've really got a really good lineup of vendors that we're going to be working with. We're going to really push the envelope on the autocross and roadcourse side of the S550 platform, roll racing, drag racing side, you know, and then all the import stuff that we do with the Tuned by Sean customers that come in for things. And
oh man, my brain's going freaking crazy now. So dude, there's not enough time in a day to talk to you. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna jump on this bandwagon then. I'm good at keeping myself on track usually, but now it's like, oh, I want to go everywhere. The Tuned by Sean then. So he works primarily on what?
so
I know RX-7.
Haltech.
Haltech.
He'll tune anything on Haltech.
Okay.
You know, we're WD Direct. We're a Haltech Platinum dealer. It's basically Haltech stuff. So we do installs, harnesses, rewires. You know, it's kind of a one-stop shop. You got a Evo that you want to put it on a Haltech and get an upgraded turbo kit and upgraded clutch and get an alignment done. We can do it all in one stop. You know, tune, turnkey, ready to go.
Does he stick to any particular like brands or anything, or not really?
So with Haltech, can you Haltech anything basically?
Pretty much.
Let's say you got a Fox body, I've got something, whatever. I just want to throw a Haltech. I mean, will they run something that old too? Push rod shit.
Yep.
Stuff like that too.
Yep. All you need is a crank and a cam signal.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just tuning.
Okay.
So, and then Haltech just released that new Rebel LS this year too, which is like competing against the Holly Terminator, and it's, you know, plug and play solution. So I've got a really cool vehicle that we're doing that on here. That's going to be, that we'll talk to you about doing some videoing on, but it's gonna be fun. It's
Is it the one that was dripping something on another thing, or is it a different vehicle?
different vehicle.
Okay, it wasn't anything that I saw there, was it?
No.
Okay.
Nope. But it's you know, it's 750 horsepower, fun car.
Okay.
that we're going to take the Holly off of and put the Haltech on. So
we'll see.
It's going to be fun. You know,
I like
just to show people how easy it is to do it, document the install. You know, even though this car's already got a Holly setup on it, we're going to pull the Holly setup out, put the Haltech on it. Mm-hmm. It's not going to make any more power. You know, the power is made by the engine combo, mm-hmm. but there are some key advantages that the Haltech has that the Holly doesn't, like drive-by-wire. And, you know, at that price point, we can do drive-by-wire, whereas Holly, you got to go to the Terminator X Max to get drive-by-wire. Otherwise, you got a cable throttle body. And drive-by-wire gives you more tuning ability with torque management and stuff like that. So it's going to be a fun little thing, and get it out there and have some fun and get some content out of it, and sky's the limit.
I think I'll save this conversation more for off air, because I think there's especially with the way you have the shop set up now where you want to go, there's a lot of cool content shit we can do. That's a definitely an off air conversation, because the last like three like the Charlie Main episode, it was a content episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like that stuff isn't as relatable. I feel like to the listeners, they want to hear car man shit.
Yeah.
Not your stupid TikToks. And
we just like going fast, you know.
Yeah.
It's one thing, you know, I don't have a huge social media presence because I let my shit talk at the track, you know.
Yeah, if you can combine that, like that's one of the reasons I really want to do a lot more track events next year. Is I really want to put numbers behind everything I do. Right, so I've talked to so many experts on the show. I'm blessed to be in this position. You know, talking to people like yourself and people who have done shit. Right, so I think it's about time that I back up my talk. Well, I don't talk shit much, but it's like I'd like to be able to talk, like, you know, to actually live, you know, by the sword, I guess, and hopefully not die by the sword. But yeah,
the track is it's such a, especially when you get into the autocross road racing world, like everybody's there to help you until you get to the top echelon, and then you're a competitor again. But like in the autocross world, like you're struggling with a corner entry or missing a gate or something, you're gonna have 20 people coming over and like, hey, watch that on my GoPro so you can see the line and see this, and like,
or just people offering to do lead follow. Like, there's not, if anybody's intimidated about being a beginner at any level, people are, like you said, they're so inviting. It's insane. If you suck out there, they'll give you pointers.
Jump in my car. You see my blue S550 that says grid up on the plate at any autocross event. Walk up to the door and be like, hey, can I jump in? I'm gonna be like, sure, I don't care.
I want to go for a ride in that thing as soon as humanly possible, because
tonight maybe.
No, you didn't drive it here. No. Yeah, you're not that crazy.
It's 22 minutes away.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, like, so my first time in Adam's Viper, it was 38 degrees, and I think he was almost full boost that night. Although one time he had full, like, it was like almost perfect T85 in the car or whatever. Like, it was almost, everything was like, the conditions were absolutely perfect. And that night was the first time I started getting scared in the car. And I was glad that, you know, it got hot. Like, I think we poked the hornet's nest that night, so, you know, it was just cops everywhere. So we're just like, yeah, let's just do something else. Not that we got in trouble or anything, but
no, you can't get in trouble when you're in Mexico.
No, they were around. Yeah, it was Mexico. But then this year, holy shit, that's what I was quiet the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's like, a whole nother echelon that, you know.
Yeah. Dude.
Again, if I end up putting a cage in my car, it's like, well, now I might as well, because I've got a Coyote block off getting sleeved right now, and it's
really
like,
okay.
So I can build a 2,500 horsepower Coyote with what I have in parts in the shop right now.
And you're fully capable of doing that, I assume.
Yeah, and then I just go to like a twin 76 mil turbo setup on the car.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's like, where do you stop?
Why are the 5.0s so good at handling power? Can you explain the magic at all, or is it just too magical?
Big bore, short stroke, double overhead cam, heads that flow really well. Like, they just...
Yeah, and you're not doing anything. You're not doing any head work. You're leaving the VCT in, right? You're not locking out the cams. You're not doing any of that crap. You're just letting it do its thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
My car's got stock cams in it. It's got valve springs, but that's because we're going to push enough boost that we would actually open the valves. If we didn't at the upper RPMs and you get valve float. We actually, when we pulled the motor down, we did. That was the only thing we found was on the Vortec, we were running 17 pounds of boost, and that's 15 is kind of that safe limit on the Gen 3 Coyotes.
Yeah.
And the engine builder was like, how much boost were you running? See this right here? That's valve float. He's like, you got lucky. I was like, okay. Well, we're putting valve springs in it now, so we don't have to worry about that.
How was he able to tell that there was valve flow?
There, on the tip of the valve, there's marking on it that indicates that it was floating the valves.
Okay.
Did you do anything to your timing? Are you running like all MMR stuff, or did you do all stock guides,
It's got
tensioners?
stock chains, stock tensioners.
Yeah.
It's got JPC billet guides and tensioner rails in it.
Okay.
Stock non-HD, the crossover chain from the exhaust to the intake cam, stock.
Yeah, I went with the Siley change because that's when somebody told me to do that on that crossover chain. But other than that, I left everything stock on the timing too.
Yeah, I mean, chains are a maintenance item just like a belt.
Right.
So I'll change them at some point, but they're new. They're just new OEM ones. JPC guides. It's got I do have a GT500 oil pump in it, and GT500 oil pan and pickup tube, and they're Boundary Black Series ported gears. So the thing makes stupid oil pressure, like more than it should.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much so that we have to restrict the oil going to the turbos because cold start it's like 130 psi.
Holy shit.
All right, let's do a little experiment here. What year is your car?
2020.
All right, because now we're going to do some shopping. All
No,
right.
the Coyote is just an engineering marvel. But to be fair, it's Ford's mod motor they've had since the mid '90s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the 4.6, the 5.4, the 5.0. You can bolt the
5.8,
transmission.
Trinity.
Yeah, the 5. Yeah, it's just it's something that, GM and their single freaking cam push rod shit that they're still rocking and
take an LT1 or an LT4. You can't go out and make 1,000 horsepower on one of them stock unopened.
Yeah, can you explain
And-
that actually?
and just
Yeah,
like,
I can't remember who I was
know.
talking to about that, but yeah, explain why is it easier to make 1,000 off of, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, off of Mustang compared to a Corvette.
Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with 4 cams. You've got 4
technology.
cams. You've got variable cam timing on all 4 cams, so you can make the power band broader. You can rev them out. I will give the LT era, they do make more torque, but Gen 3s make pretty decent torque. My car made headers, E85, cold air intake, and a tune. Like the simple basic mods. My car made 487 and 460 torque.
That's the mic build, right? That's what you did early on, I think.
Yeah,
Something similar to that.
on the old car.
and the only difference between a Gen 2 and a Gen 3 is the port injection, right?
Yeah,
the
so,
direct
well,
injection.
there's a lot of differences. DI PI combo is a big one. Gen 2 is a smaller displacement. Gen 3 they actually went to a 3.662 inch bore versus a 3.60, I think. Because a Gen 3 is technically like 306 cubic inches. It's not a 302.
Oh, okay.
12-to-1 compression instead of 11-to-1 compression because of the DI. And it's funny because we actually block the DI off on anything over 1,000 horsepower. So like that Whipple car that makes 1120 doesn't have DI anymore. It's blocked off. So it's only running port fuel injectors. My car is getting the DI blocked off here over the winter because I'm changing some things up. I'm putting a different intake manifold on it and doing the DI block off because they're starting to see more and more DI injector failures at 1,000 plus wheel horsepower. And when it fails, it's an engine.
Oh,
So I'd rather avoid that.
right.
Do you have the same thing blocked off in yours or no?
Not yet.
He's
I'm
going
doing.
to.
Okay.
I'm doing
Oh, yeah.
it. Yep.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was calculating in my
That was
head.
that
I'm
little
like,
package I showed you when you were at the shop.
Yeah.
With the little plugs and then the
That's
block
right.
off plate. So
So if we go back to, let's get that to the side. If we go back to Car Gurus here,
Well, Janderson from Jason Anderson from Janderson Heads, he's working Gen 3 heads now too. Well, he'll fill those ports in too for you and get rid of them that way.
I've actually got a CNC program developed for him right now.
Yeah.
I just
Did I
haven't.
tell you I'm having him on the podcast soon?
Haven't.
Are you really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, he actually reached out to me because we had Jarrett on.
Yep.
So yeah, he sent me a long thing or whatever. I'm like, let's get on a phone call. We had a great phone call. Like I learned a thing or two on the phone call. But it's like I think we're gonna try to get him on after I'm back from Texas. So in a few weeks here.
Yeah, he does phenomenal work. I mean,
Yeah.
You're not gonna find anybody who knows more about cylinder heads than that guy. No.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. I'm actually gonna probably reach out to you to see like what topics I should discuss. I feel like you would know a thing or two. Yeah,
he's I've talked to him. I was gonna have him do a set of Gen 3 heads for me, and because he does Tony Santini's heads.
That's right. Yep, Bad Cobra. Yep,
Bad Cobra's heads, and I had reached out to him, and he was like, "Yeah, talk to Janderson."
Yeah, that car is fucking insane. It's like, what is it? I think it's like 1600 wheel, and it's a what is it? SN 197? Is it SN? It's a SN, right?
No, it's S.
It's just S, right?
SN 95.
S
Then
SN
S
195.
197.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
is an SN95.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Stupid
Yeah,
Mustangs.
pretty sure, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
it's a
SN95.
Cobra.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
like a 96,
Terminator.
97. It's a Terminator.
Yeah.
No,
course.
that's a new. It's technically an
A
SN95,
new
but
edge.
it's a new edge.
New edge,
But
yep.
they literally underneath a couple body panels, they're exactly the same. And to be fair, they're exactly the same as a Fox body. They go all the way back to 79.
That's freaking wild.
Yeah.
All right, because so as you remember, I was talking Supras again to you yesterday because I'm an idiot. I just found a Mustang that's 10,000 miles, right? 50, 2020, $36,000. That's a 14.
I wouldn't even be scared either. Like 10, 20,000 miles, 30,000 miles. That wouldn't scare me at all.
No, that is fresh out the condom. So,
But so
The thing's had 2 oil changes.
yeah,
Maybe 3 if
If
it's
I
a-
were you though, if you're really thinking are you thinking boost or NA build?
I would not do an NA.
Okay, well then I would do a 2015 to 17. I would go Gen 2. It's going to be this whole thing he's talking about with port injection stuff is great for an NA build because you can squeeze pretty good power out of them with E85 stuff like that without going boost. But you're going to get a cheaper car. The Gen 2 is still an amazing Coyote motor, and if you're going to put boost to it,
They just are a little sadder looking in the front.
yeah,
They're not
that
as
comes
edgy.
down to
Honestly, I loved the 15 to 17 when it came out, and I was like, I'm going to buy one of those. And then the 18 came out, and I was like, I don't know if I like it. And then about a year went by, and I was like, it's really grown on me. It's a little
problem.
edgier with the slant coming out of where the in the front lower part of the bumper.
Yep.
And then I ended up buying one, just right dead in the heat of COVID. I bought it August 2020, and COVID hit May or March of 2020.
Yeah.
Called the local dealership down here, and they were like, they laughed me out of there. Laughed at me on the phone. They're like, "You want a PP1 401A package car? Good luck." And hung up on me, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I literally have the cash to buy this right now." So I ended up calling 1040 Ford up in St. Cloud, and the lady that answered the phone's like, "I'd love to sell it to you, but we got a Mustang expert here. Let me get you over to him. He'll call you back in an hour. He's with a customer right now." Dude called me back, and he's like, "What are you looking for?" I said, "I want a 2020 GT 401A with the premium package." So, the safe and secure, lane keep. I don't care if it has B&O sound system. I just want, it has to be a PP1 401A car with active exhaust. Anything from there, I don't care. And he's like, "Okay, how about colors?" I was like, "Velocity blue." He's like, "Do you have any other choices?" "Velocity blue." He's like, "Okay, if I can't find one, what else would you be okay with?" "Velocity blue." But I will take an Oxford white if you can find one too. So he's like, "Give me a couple days." Called me in 2 days. I had talked to him on a Monday. 2 days goes by, calls me and says, "Did you get my email?" I'm like, "No, but I will right now." Open it up. He's like, "There's the window sticker for the one I found. Let me know if you want me to get it." It's Velocity blue 401A premium PP1 car. And he's like, "I can have it here by Saturday." And I was like, "Cool, I'll come pick it up Saturday." Drove up there. Didn't even talk to my salesman once in person. Literally walked into the finance office, put the cash down, financed it, drove it home.
Wow. And now, if you want something in the future, you're going to call that dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that they don't realize. Yeah.
Anything that I've had wrong with it, they literally send one of their transporters down with a loaner car, pick my car up, drive it back to the dealership, fix it, drive it back, pick up the loaner car, and I just have a card on file so they top it off with fuel when they get back.
Wow.
Didn't find that down here at any of the dealers.
No.
And 1040 puts a lifetime powertrain warranty on the car. Granted, I've far avoided that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But I will tell you, they've done a lot of front wheel bearings in the car, and it's been dropped off on slicks, and it's had wheel bearings replaced under warranty.
Really?
That's
I've
good
had
stuff.
some wheel bearing problems too in my car. But
Oh, have you?
Yeah, just a couple.
Well, when you throw 315s on the front of a car that came stock with 255s up front,
Yeah.
then roadcourse it and autocross it on road race suspension, it's tends to put a little more strain on factory components.
Yeah.
You think just a little?
Just a little bit.
I'm just thinking, dude, like that $14,000 difference just in the price of the car. Like I could, if I threw 14 grand at a 2025 where would that get me power wise and overall everything, I guess?
They put you in the
I mean,
800
you
for
can-
sure, right?
You could make, depends on which route
Quality
you
build.
want to go, but you could literally do an ESS G3X or G3R fuel system and some suspension goodies and 950.
Wow.
900 horse.
And that's before I even get the stupid Supra stock.
Yeah.
And then, oh man, I'm reevaluating my life with you and Mike in my life.
I'll put it this way.
I've been preaching it to you for a while.
ESS,
Yeah, but your shit's broken and isn't fast. So.
Yeah.
The ESS is so simple to install. Like, I've done so many of them now. I can literally put that blower on start to finish in one day. Like, pull the car into my bay, have it pulled back out into the day running. If it's just a blower and I'm not doing like oil pump gears and stuff like that, but blower
Is that
injectors,
recommended? Typically?
I would.
It's
Remember that
There are
insurance thing we
plenty-
talked about earlier?
there are plenty of people that are making 800 to 1,000 without a minute that have never had a problem, and there are a handful of people that have had problems. So it's one of those things that it's not a bad idea to do it, and oil pump gears are $220. However, it's 14 hours of labor to do it. So
Yeah,
Depends on if you want to bounce it off the rev limiter or not.
I might.
Which with a supercharger tends to happen a little faster than you would otherwise.
first 3 times I drove mine after putting the blower on it, like manually shifting it, I was like,
Yeah.
rev limiter, rev limiter, rev
Yeah.
limiter, rev limiter.
I had the same
like-
problem.
like-
I was like, okay.
Or the original tune that I had in it, we didn't have it set to auto upshift, and you pull it down into sport and then go to manual mode to race somebody.
Yeah.
Like at Power Cruise, and then as soon as you floor it, you just tap it back into drive and it'll auto upshift. Well, there is in the tuning side, you can have it auto upshift even in manual mode. It won't auto downshift, but it'll auto upshift if you're
Okay.
100% throttle.
Yeah.
So once we did that, it was like, okay, now I can stop missing the next gear. Because it won't shift when it's bouncing off the rev limiter. You have to physically lift off the pedal, click the next gear, and then get back into it. So
Okay.
you got your ass handed to you. Bye.
Yeah, no, I'm a man. I actually drive a manual, so I don't even know how that works.
Do you? I don't. Those days are behind you, I feel.
Yeah, I know.
I love that. What's my other foot supposed to do? I don't know. I like going fast. That's why I drive an auto.
I am with the GT500. I'm really loving the DCT, so I'm becoming a believer.
That DCT is so good, dude. It is so good.
It's a weird shift. I've never had anything be so seamless before. It's just really weird how it goes between gears.
I gotta take you for a ride in a GTR.
Yeah.
It is scary fast.
Can we do a swapping keys with you and me together?
I'll talk to Pops. We'll see what
Yeah, there you
happens.
go.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the DCT and the GT500 crushes the GTR's DCT.
AMG GTR. Not the.
Well, that's the AMG GTR and the DCT and the Mustang are the same
Are they?
manufacturer.
Really?
Same
Okay.
with the 458 Italia.
Who's the manufacturer?
Tremec, right?
Is
Yeah.
it? I got some learning to do. That's why I was so impressed. I keep telling people, like, that is literally like the American GTR.
Did you see the cutaways of them at
I don't know if I did.
I do not. I would never want to work on one. My God, is there a lot going on inside that transmission?
Would you work on? Do you work on transmissions much? No.
There's
I send
guys
that
who
to
do
the
that.
professionals.
Yeah.
Here I am. Yeah. No.
I don't. I love race cars and all that stuff, but I hate brake fluid, I hate gear oil, and I hate automatic transmission fluid. So if I can avoid touching those, I just do.
A transmission is a special. There's some guys that do that too. They'll dabble back and forth, whatever. But an automatic transmission, like a good, true built one, there's guys that know those things like
all
crazy.
the tricks and tips and like valve body work, reworking and yeah, those guys are.
I would say there's less going on inside a Coyote engine than there is in that 10R80. There's things in there and parts and pieces and like you said, valves and I mean that's nuts what's going on.
Mine we went a few steps further on mine and had custom laser cut steels made so that we could fit extra capacity clutches in all the clutches.
Wow.
So, you can get right from Rasmussen, you can get like a upgraded extra capacity F clutch, which is your 7th gear, and it's a few other gears as well. But then there's some clutches that you can't, so you have to make the parts. And Adam was able to have those sourced and custom machined and everything, so we've got extra capacity and I want to say it's the C, D, E, and F clutches in mine.
Wow.
So, and then it's Rasmussen's GPZ frictions and Circle D converter, and it's the car's tuned on PCM tech now, so it's got rolling anti-lag, trans brake, launch control, all the fun stuff.
Does it have a burble tune?
No.
Aw.
No. I mean, they burble from the factory. It'll backfire every once in a while too, because I've got for the track, it's got a non-emissions compliant catch can.
Does
atmosphere. Street driving though, it's still recirculative, but it'll every once in a while it'll have a really nasty like backfire just because blow-off valves open and catch cans venting, so the MAF sees like excess airflow and it's dumping fuel and it's like Subarus when you do a vent to atmosphere blow-off valve instead of the recirc one, and they pop every time they shift. Yeah. With the mufflers, I can't hear it as much. So.
You took a deep breath. I thought you were
No, I just.
Are you going to at any point resurrect Snafu Racing?
So, Snafu, we kind of just it pretty much just integrated with DRSC.
Okay.
So we do all the fab in house now.
And Snafu was your primarily. Remind me again, what exactly was it that you did?
So it started off as off-road stuff. Like
that's
when
what
I
was
was doing my when I was big into side-by-sides and breaking every part that was made, and I was like, this shit's junk. Let's build some better stuff. Started building crash bars and bumpers and doing roll cages and stuff like that. And that just kind of took off, and pretty much what I was doing at, the performance shops with full-on builds and custom fab stuff, and it just was a fun side gig for a long time. I actually had a commercial spot over here in St. Louis Park for a little bit. Built 2 cars out of there, and then kind of when I went to Moe's, I kind of just put it on the back burner, and now I have my own shop. So it's still technically in existence. It's just not the storefront, I guess you could say. It's more of if anything, I'd resurrect it as like a product line.
Yeah. I'm excited on that front. The future is bright for you. I'm excited on that front. You have a lot of things brewing. It's just, it's kind of like where I'm at. It's like, which direction do you choose? There's so many.
All of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. New stresses have entered into my life in the past month. So, with something I'm debating.
Well, you know what so I've spent a lot of time on the phone with, I've got a couple of, I keep my circle really small. I've got very few people that are like really close friends. I would probably say 2 people that are really close friends, and they're both fellow business owners. And they're always we all talk amongst ourselves of what should we do next. And the common conclusion we've come to is when you're most nervous is the time you need to fucking jump and just do it.
Yeah.
Like if it's keeping you up at night, just fucking jump.
Yeah.
Like I've lived in my car. I'm not afraid to fill. Mm-hmm. I can dig myself up in a 16th of the time that I could 10 years ago.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
if it all failed and, everything came crashing down, build it back better. Mm-hmm. Not Biden style either.
I was about to say, hold on, that sounds a little familiar. No.
Except for nothing's been built back better. It's just been built back more expensive with him. But we're not going to go into politics today. We're going to talk about
That's
race
the other
cars.
thing the Ford guys like to say. We'll say something, but we won't go into politics. Typical Ford guy. No, I'm already doing a jumping thing. More so, I've added another avenue that it's like another thing to do. That's more so what I meant. But yeah, whereas I have full scent with monoxide. And the next 3 months are going to be the most interesting months of my life, I think. But that's a conversation for another day. But it's basically it's like, what do you choose to do? Like you said, all of it. But at a certain point, it's like you only have so much bandwidth for every project.
Then you hire people.
That's a fair solution.
Bury yourself to the point where you're like, all right, I need some breathing room. You hire somebody, get them trained in, and then you like the eventual goal is I'm not going to touch cars anymore. I'm going to have somebody that can do what I do, and I can venture off and make new business ventures and
that's
new
huge
things. And
so is the goal to get the shop seamlessly working, and then you could fuck around with other things?
I'd love that.
Okay.
I'd love that. I'd love to be able to have a general manager there that takes care of day-to-day operations, and it's going to take time.
Of course,
it's going to take time, but being able to maybe open a second location or do some other form of business or get into real estate or something like, I grew up dirt poor. So like, I want to leave something for my kids, something I didn't get, and I'm just going to keep moving, keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I pride myself on my quality of work, and I try and instill that with all the techs. Like, I'll get on my guys, like if they're moving too fast, I'm like, if you move too fast, you're going to make mistakes, which is polar opposite of most other business owners. Like I would rather turn out something that's 100% perfect that took an extra day than turn something out that they missed one little hose clamp and, it got missed on a test drive, and then all of a sudden it's a problem. Because now in the customer's eyes, you did everything right. You met every expectations, but they had one little setback that they had to bring the car back. I don't want that.
It's harder to backpedal. Like, you could do everything right. You might not get that 5-star review, but you do one thing wrong. Oh, it's game over. It just goes all over the place. And, granted, there's certain people that are forgiving, but at the same time, you get that one bad customer. And I have other shop owner friends around here. I'm not going to mention who or the customer or whatever, but it's like, they've had their car fucked up, and now they talk shit about that shop owner all the time. Yeah. And that's not good for reputation, because like a Google review is great, but when you're in a car community like this, word gets around fast, especially in Minnesota.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, bud.
Okay. That's why like, there's been a lot of rumors floating around. Like, people are like, well, you and Mo's aren't on good terms. I can go up there and say hi to him. Mo was here at the open house for Ratified. Yeah. Walked up, my daughter gave him a big hug. I gave him a hug. Like, there's no bad blood. Like, I opened my own shop.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
It's part of growth. Yeah.
And they were excited for me. Like, hey, this is the next step. We're happy for you. Like,
where can we collaborate?
I talked to Mo at PRI, and he wished nothing but well things for you. He was, was excited for what you got going on.
And I'm so excited. I stopped up there the other day when we threw that car on the dyno and saw the expansion. Like, dude, that place looks amazing. I wish I had that room when I worked there. Granted, they don't have any lifts in the new shop yet, but it's a lot more space, and that's going to be huge for them. That's going to be huge for them.
It doesn't feel crammed at all.
No, like way more room to get in and out of the dyno. That lift isn't in the way anymore there. Like,
Yep.
There's a mezzanine now. They've got parts stored up there. It's really nice looking shop now. Like,
I can't wait for their next dyno event over there. That'll be cool. Like, with all
especially
that space.
night dyno. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. I didn't make it out to that, but
I didn't either,
it looked
but-
amazing.
I heard all the stories.
What stories did you hear?
Went till 5 in the morning.
Yeah, that was just insanity.
You made it sound like it was rambunctious.
I'm pretty sure it was rambunctious. But yeah.
Yeah.
You get a bunch of testosterone and high
Yeah,
horsepower
right.
cars in the same location, and it tends to be the catalyst for
Absolutely.
Especially on a
some
hot
fun.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited. I think a lot of things are on the horizon for all of us in this room.
I'm just excited for everything in Minnesota. Like all the
scene is growing.
Like the scene's growing. All of us are expanding. All of us are getting better, and it's gonna be awesome. Like it's gonna be a good year. Like Power Cruise next year, there's gonna be a lot of really fast cars out there.
Especially Power Cruise 2. I feel like a lot of people might be wrapping up their builds still. Power Cruise 1.
Well, my car originally was supposed to be ready for Power Cruise 1 last year.
Yeah.
And I didn't even make Power Cruise 2 last year.
It's an all weekend thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you go out and camp? What do you do?
I stay in a hotel.
I'm okay.
Too old for the track.
Yeah.
Too much partying.
Yeah, I'll go back to the hotel and get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I lived in Brainerd for 7 years. We camped at the track every weekend.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Been there, done that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
That box is checked. Now it's a good night's sleep and a fresh shower, and it sounds way better.
I just picked up a pickup bed camper for my truck, so I want to try and get up there Power Cruise and maybe go out there and stay the night.
Yeah. Camp down where like the ratified guys camp. That's
Calm.
Calmer.
Yeah.
That's good.
Much more calmer. Camp up near the Unz tent, the dance party up there, and you probably aren't going to get any sleep.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
Mainly because my car's done.
Yeah, that's going to help a lot.
That helps, yeah.
Yeah, there's I'm excited. I'm excited to do a lot of track content next year. I as long as all things work out financially, which I think they should. You got to make them work.
Yep.
I think that's literally the only. I know how to get to Z. I just got to do B through Y first. So
Well, and you got a backwards plan. You got to know what your end goal is to be able to set goals along the way. That I know I need X, Y, Z.
Well, that's why I said I
to
know
get
what
this.
Z is. Yeah.
But to get there, I got to do this,
Yeah.
and this. And then on each step, you kind of reassess what you're
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah, then let's just put it this way: the next, literally the second the clock strikes midnight at the end of this year, it's all chaos for a full week. That full week of the first year, it's gonna be grind time. It's gonna be awesome. I think we're all gonna get some tacos. Should we go? We should do Hazelwood at a taco shop.
I don't care. We need to find out where the ladies are.
Yeah, good point.
And
Yeah,
then, I figure, are we getting to that 2 hour mark? Because my ass feels like it is.
yeah, it's a good barometer. Yeah,
I mean, it is 8:00.
Yeah.
hour 57. I think this is longer than last time. Well, even though you've answered this question before, let's see if it still holds true, if you've changed things, because that's one of the nice things about having a repeat guest is let's see what else they have to say. So why don't you pop the usual 3?
All right. So he did have this question when he was on the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we need 3 cars from you, unlimited budget, track car, daily driver, and a show car. What are you picking?
Well, track car is still going to be either a Riley or a Jannetta or a Liege, some sort of LMP car.
Let's pick one.
It's a manufacturer difference. They're all the same.
We'll get you back on 6 more times.
Jannetta G58.
Okay.
Show car. I just have a fond affliction for like that first gen F body Camaro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's just it's cult classic, but Yeah, I'd probably go like 67. Well, probably 68 Camaro.
Okay. And then daily.
Some $500 ship box I don't care about. I don't even care what it is. Unlimited budget. I'm still driving the cheapest piece of shit that I can because I literally, people suck in Minnesota for driving on the street.
Yeah. I'll sell you mine for $500 after I spin it around in the Laurie Hill Tunnel at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday.
I mean, the amount of people I have seen in the last week driving at night with no headlights on.
That is what's killing me.
Astounding.
Yes. Because it's getting dark at like 4:30 now, right? So people they just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
I had somebody coming at me in my lane coming towards me on 694 the other night.
Oh, my God.
With their flashers on. Like, how the fuck did you get on the highway going the wrong way?
Yeah, that like
you could
takes
drive
work.
backwards?
Yeah.
Like, how?
Oh, yeah, some spit came out on that one.
Yeah.
Jeez, like,
Dude, I had one 3 or 4 weeks ago. I had someone over in Edina, just off France Avenue. I was about to get on France Avenue, and somebody was driving down the road my direction, and I don't even know how they got in. And I posted about it on Facebook. I'm like, that's the closest I had to anybody. Like, I was like side by side with this person.
Yeah.
I was like, and they kept driving up the road. It's like, dude, just ridiculous. And that it's always in Edina. I swear, I don't know what they put in the water in Edina, but it's always in Edina.
it's the cake eaters.
On that note, though, where can everybody find you? Where do you want to be found? Please don't put out your address.
The shop Facebook page is DRSC Automotive.
What does DRSC stand for?
It's just mine and Sean's initials,
Oh, fair enough.
but it's also Done Right Service Center.
Okay, well, we'll go with that.
And there's so many different play on words with it.
Yeah, that's the fun in it.
So
Yeah.
DR is short for doctor. I worked in the medical field in the military, and we're referred to as doc. So doc service center, DR service
Yeah, yeah.
center. So there's a lot of different things, but the gist of it is it's mine and Sean's initials, and simple, easy. That's the best place to find us is on Facebook. It's probably the most actively watched. We finally started an Instagram for
I saw.
the shop, and I don't think there's even a post on it yet. But
I think there's exactly one.
there might be one. Yeah. That's all stuff that I wanted to get everything running smoothly before I focused on any of that, because if you get too busy if you don't have the systems in place to operate smoothly, more customers aren't going to do you any good.
Yeah, you think like a doctor.
And we didn't have, we didn't have a shortage of customers starting off. It's been build after build after build. We've done, 5 Gen 3 Coyotes that all make 800 plus wheel horsepower. I've got that Mosler in the shop right now. I've got RX-7 in there right now, that twin turbo LS one that you saw. Got another RX-7.
Dude, on the way back from your shop, I saw him on the highway.
Yeah, so
he waved at me on the highway.
Yeah, he was on his way to my shop.
No, he was going south with me.
Oh,
Yeah, that was after I left your shop. It was so funny.
He must have come by after, because he was like, "Yeah, I saw Harris on the highway and waved to him. I don't know if he saw me or not." So,
Okay, side note before we wrap this up. Bullshit. This fucking... how do I not get mad? So I got pulled over for having my phone in my hand by a cop a few weeks ago, and I have 20% tint on the sides. It's like, you saw my phone? Bullshit. And Mo can't see me through the front, and I have 40% on the front. So it's like, one of these guys is lying now. I'm pretty sure you saw me wave, though. Like, you should be able to see through my windshield just fine. So anyway, it was just so funny. But and then your Instagram, are you active on it at all?
So yeah, Snafu Racing is kind of just a hodgepodge of everything. I shit post on there, make funny reels, and
Yep.
some personal stuff, some work stuff. And
Cool.
It's just social media. Don't take it seriously.
Yeah. That's what we live by now these days, though.
Far too many people that take social
Yeah.
media to heart.
I've been trolling so hard lately. I just like, I'm like, you know what? On Christmas, I got into a fight with someone. I'm like, I'm gonna ruin your fucking Christmas, dude. Like, just got into it.
I love going on the S550 pages and talking shit to those people.
Yeah.
It's
like,
so fun.
You have to have this and this and this in order to make this power. Listen, buddy, no you don't. I made 901 wheel horsepower on a factory fucking returnless fuel system in my car and had 0 fuel pressure issues. You, sir, don't know what you're talking about. You're regurgitating some shit you read on the internet.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. I could talk about trolling all week. For you?
You can find us over at Gun It Garage. It's 2 N's on all of the social medias, including Carmunity.
Yeah, if you want to see some Mustang sled stuff,
No
unfortunately.
sled stuff. It's been
That's God's way of saying no.
we're not posting much. I should be posting my sim stuff that I'm doing right now. I'm building that and stuff. But again, sometimes it's hard for me. I'm busy doing these things and not always getting a chance to get them out there. You know.
Yep, sounds about right. And as for me, you should know where you're at after 2 hours. Well, thank you for listening to the Monoxide Podcast. Be sure to check out our sponsors, Raise a Hood, of course, which I think by the time I drop this episode, I should have an official ad. We'll see. It's tough to do ad work, man. Props to the people that could do it for a full-time living and coming up with jingles and shit. I could never. And then, of course, thanks for Ratified for always hosting us here at this beautiful upgraded studio. So, Dave, thanks for coming on. Dan,
Yeah, absolutely.
thanks for existing, and see y'all next time.